Hello, welcome to part 2 of my attempt to walk from the south coast of Devon to the north coast of Devon. So we've covered some miles, we've had some adventures. I walked all the way from the coast to Ivybridge to the start of Dartmoor in one day. That was an achievement in my mind. And then Dartmoor itself, what an amazing place, absolutely staggering. Now we're halfway through the long slog in between Dartmoor and Exmoor. Gone from here up to here, to the A30. So it's now 20 to 3. I think I've got another 3 hours walking at least. So we'll just see how far we can get. Well, there it is, that's what soundtracks my lunch. Up we go again. Teeny weeny pony. Hello. Thatch and cob are the building materials around here, the vernacular I guess you call it. Cob is just mud or clay and straw mixed together. Built huge thick walls and then a massive thatch roof on top. Just to return to the subject of hedges for a moment, I've been noticing that there's a lot more conventional hedges in this part of Devon. So they're not the stone wall topped with a hedge that we saw so much of earlier in the adventure. And I think that makes sense if you think we're in an area where we're starting to see cob buildings and thatched roofs. So there's obviously a lack of stone compared to the southern part of Devon, where they've got so much stone. Well, it's all over the place. I'm still on this road. As you can see here, the road then comes back on itself as we leave the road and we're on a trail that goes down into a valley. There should be water down there and that'll probably be a good place for dinner. Down there. So I found a water source at the bottom of the valley, which is the good news. Bad news is I'm not having dinner here or even filling up my water bottle. It's actually a river. It's quite murky. But also, there's literally no access. Not without hopping this fence and crashing through that undergrowth. That's where I've just come up. I was just thinking, maybe I'll camp here. And then I saw this patch. Someone camped here last night. I may follow the example of my fellow hiker and camp at this spot. But I'm definitely going to have dinner here right now. I must admit I'm a bit disappointed with today. I got up early, I set off early. I felt like I was really going for it. But I've just checked the trip computer on the GPS here. And it says just shy of 20 miles. I just walked and I walked. it's now dinner time and I haven't even quite clocked over 20 miles yet. So I might finish this up and do a couple more miles just because. There's a lot of lessons to be learned from this trip, but a really valuable lesson is what is my limit per day in terms of mileage. And then what that enables then is for me and Katie to plan trips where I stand a chance of keeping up with her. Because obviously she could just keep going because she's awesome. Yes, I do love our adventures together, but there is a different sort of joy in a solo adventure when it's going well. When it's not going well, that just means that when it is going well, it means it feels even better, if that makes any kind of sense at all. Bear in mind, I'm completely knackered at the end of a long day's walking. Well, as you can see, we're back on the move. I just wasn't satisfied with the day's progress. Got an hour of light left, might as well make use of it. Whoa there, easy lad. Hello. Hello. Fetch it then, fetch it. Crikey, they made me jump. I just got the feeling now if I relax, I'm going to be flushed out of my hiding place by two over-friendly dogs. Green for go. Well, I found a spot, took some doing, but here we are, all set up for the night. 35 kilometres in the end, so what's that, 22 miles something? So I did alright. I was getting annoyed with myself, it's still a personal best. So I'm deep in the woods, it's a low profile pitch. Certainly makes a change from camping out right on top of a hill. There won't be any wind tonight, that's for sure. This is the soundtrack I'm going off to sleep to. Good night. Welcome to day 5. So it's just before 7 in the morning, and the plan is simple today, is put on as many miles as possible heading north. So I'm headed for a town called Bishop, hopefully for lunch, well at least to buy some lunch there. I slept well, it did get cold. I was too warm at first, I had to take a layer off, but I soon woke up and put that back on, and then my first light, I could believe it was down to 3 degrees. I got up at 6, packed up, and here we are. At the end of this lane we join a road and then path, and up we go. I feel better for having had breakfast. And next stop, I suppose, will be for lunch here, Bishop, in a few hours' time, if all goes well. Trudging up another abandoned lane. This one's got a stream in the middle of it. Look at this gate. Forged scrolls at the end, punched holes. See how when you punch a hole you get a swell around it. So instead of removing material, you push it to the side. It's all hand forged, and you see the joints, it's not welded, it's riveted. Very nice. No paint on it at all. If that was mild steel, it'd be gone in a few years, but being wrought iron, it'll just stay like that pretty much indefinitely. That didn't work out then, did it? That's all I wanted. At least this one's closed and not closed down. That's 2 in a row now. So I've had to break into my stock of dehydrated meals, which I was hoping to save until we're up on Exmoor. I've only got 2 left now. So we do need to resupply. The village, the destination village for this stage, Wembury, is listed as having a shop, and a decent shop. But of course, whether it be open, I mean that one wasn't. So we shall see. So I'm going to eat this up. It's just about ready. I've got a huge mug of tea. And then we'll crack on again. Hopefully the shop in Wembury will be open. It looks like everything around here closes on a bank holiday. I thought bank holiday Monday, I mean it was just be full of tourists. But no, they're quiet. That's it. I actually do feel a lot more positive today than I did yesterday for whatever reason. I feel like I'm making as good a progress as I possibly could, and you can't ask for more than that. Black dog. There's another cob building. I wonder if this one's lost its render. So you can see you've got a foundation wall and then all this on top. It's just clay and straw and a few stones. See, it's been re-roofed. Amazing. Mostly beach again. It's lovely. Yeah, it's very pretty. Well, I didn't expect to find a vehicle in here, or the very last remnants of it. It's got rear axle, fuel tank, a little bit of chassis, brake cylinder. This is the front. Is that an axle there? Yeah, I think there is an axle under that. I wonder what it is now. Yeah, it's got to be Wembury. just see the church spire. The shop just past that Land Rover. This is all day, every day. I might have overdone it slightly. Well, guess who's a happy chappy? Oh, I'm so glad that shop was there and open, and it's such a good shop as well. Rose friendly. I haven't got the pasty I was denied for lunch. I got some lunch for tomorrow. Plenty of snacks, fizzy drinks. Shouldn't have bought fizzy drinks. That was silly. But now we're set, which is brilliant. Because it's about 20 miles to the next shop at least. But now I might not even need it. I feel so much better. That was such a morale boost. Pasty, crisps, Lucasade, and some fruit and nut for a pudding. Well worth the effort to get to. Yes. I feel much well. My feet still hurt. My feet really hurt. But my spirits are significantly lifted by that experience. They don't yet seem to be getting any closer. Maybe they will, or maybe we'll go in a completely different direction. Back on the road again. Hopefully an opportunity to put in some relatively easy miles. There's those big wind turbines again. This time they do look closer. Hello. Look, in the distance, Exmoor. Well, the end's in sight, I guess. Jeez, it looks a long way away. According to the guidebook, this is an old toll house. So this must have been an important road at one point. We want to be... That's a tiny little path that opens up into all of this. It's like... Yeah, it seems odd. I can only assume this used to be a road. Perhaps back when that was a toll house. Because look how far apart the banks are. There and there. I mean, compare that to some of the abandoned lanes that we've been walking down today. That have been downgraded into bridleways or even just footpaths. Yes, I think this must have been a proper highway. I would happily camp anywhere along here. It's not legal, don't get me wrong, but you're not imposing either, so that makes it better in my book. According to the book, this comes out onto a moor, an open access moor. Open access land means you can walk anywhere on it. Doesn't mean you can camp on it. But again, I guess you're not imposing. It's better than a field is what I'm trying to say. It's better than the side of the road. We are in earshot of a main road. That's the only downside. Whereas up the top there, I don't think we were. I could cope with that. So I found what I think would be a nice spot, and now I'm just going to sit here for a bit. Yeah, if I'm happy with it in a bit, then we'll pitch. I waited so long to pitch that it's actually gone so dark that the camera's not working. I can show you my pitch there if I put it into spooky night mode. So don't be alarmed, there won't be any ghosts. There we go. Now it looks like a cheap horror film. But you can see the pitch. Something just incredibly simple, just to keep the morning dew off me. So I've actually used the barbed wire goes along the back here. It is nicely tensioned, so I've just hooked onto that, tied it down there. I've put a pole in there. Jolly successful day, I think. I'm going to get changed get a bed set up, go to sleep. See you all in the morning. Good night. Well, good morning and welcome to day 6. I'm talking quietly because there's a deer just over there. I just dropped the tarp down and she jumped out over that bank. I managed to grab the camera. But obviously I must be pretty well hidden here if even something as wary as a roe deer fails to notice me. There she is. Wasn't that great? Certainly not something I expected to see quite so close up. This was by far the most comfortable night. Soft underbed of beech leaves. Lovely. Sun's just coming up. There she is again. Three of them. They're a whole field away and they still ran off as soon as they spotted me. That's how you expect deer to behave. But because I was lying down and had the tarp over me, that deer that saw me in the little glade there wasn't entirely sure what she was looking at. I got lucky there. What a great start to the day. There's that busy road. Ooh, look how close they are now. So I'm heading for the little hamlet of No Stone. Just get through the village. I'm going to find a spot for breakfast. Yeah, and then we'll make a plan for the day. According to the guidebook, the pub is actually a Michelin-starred restaurant. But there's no shop here or anything actually useful. It's a tiny place actually, it's more of a hamlet than a village. There's another place that is barely a track now, but it used to be a road. I'm sure of it. Look here, these stones, these have been carefully laid here. There's not many of them left. Once again, it's wide. I wonder if this is a continuation of the same road. All-day breakfast bake from that little shop. Scrambled egg, pork, sausage meat, smoked bacon and baked beans. Yeah. That beats having a biscuit. So I don't have much of a plan for today, other than to get to Exmoor, and we should do that by lunchtime. Then we'll just play it by ear. I'll have much more of a feel for how much of the journey is left at that point. Exmoor in the distance. Up we go. Cattle grid, this might be it. This might be a big moment. Look. Ivybridge 78. Remember, we did 20 odd to get to Ivybridge. Lynmouth 24 miles to the finish. That's the other half of the sculpture. So remember, this is the twin of the sculpture that we saw when we left Dartmoor National Park. We're now entering Exmoor National Park. So that's it. The middle is done. Ah, brilliant. Brilliant. That makes me happy, that makes me very happy. The trig point, the summit, is just over there, but it's properly blowy up there. We're sheltered here by this a bank and a row of trees. So it's a perfect place to stop. I've got a hot spot on my foot just there where it's rubbing against something in the shoe. And that's the closest I've come to a blister, well, for the whole journey. So I've just put a bit of tape on it. I brought this whole roll of this tape, expecting to need loads of it. And that's the first time I used it on my feet. I have used it to hold my hat together. We are not far south of Tar Steps there. And that's going to be the next destination. Tar Steps is a bridge. It's a medieval clapper bridge. So we're going to have a look at that. Here's the Tar Steps. And then we're going to follow the river up to Withypool. Then my plan for the end of the day is to get past Withypool, which is here on this map, and off into the moor up there. Now we'll head up to the trig point. I keep saying trig point, by the way. For those of you that don't know, the trig point is the concrete, it's not really a monument, but it's the concrete plinth on top of summits in the UK, and years ago that's where you do the surveying from. So you plonk an instrument on there and you can sight across to another trig point, or to, well, I guess wherever you like. But now they make very handy landmarks, and they're generally on the summit of things as well, so you know you've got somewhere when you can plonk your hand on one, which is what we'll go and do up there. Look how far ago we left them behind. That's the Dartmoor Hills in the far distance. It's a bit hazy at the moment, that's why you can't see them all that well. You can just see the silhouettes of them. We're coming over the ridge into the wind and onto the north side of this moor. And we're headed over there into the distance in due course. First sighting of Exmoor ponies over there, as opposed to Dartmoor ponies. I've just been ambling along listening to the birds. It's just lovely here. I've got the whole place to myself as well. So peaceful. Church over there in the distance. That's on the route, so we've got to go sharply down. Tempted to fill up with water, but then I'll have to carry up the hill. See, this one's got a forged both ends, but no twist. little poire for decoration. Different one again. This one's forged, but it's forged around rather than punched through the end, and not forge welded either. It's simpler again. Here we are. This is the clapper structure. It's just made of giant slabs of stone going across between piers. And it survived here despite flood and whatnot for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. This is the River Barle, and we'll be following it for a long way. Well, there it is, Wembury Pool. The soundtrack of someone strimming in their garden, I think. Boom. There is a shop down there. It's just as well we didn't need it, because I expect it'd be closed. Yeah, the shop was closed, but the loos were open, so that was handy. The hunt is on for a spot for dinner and camping, which tonight might be the same place. This lane will lead us up onto the moor. Made it onto the moor. I found a spot. I've bimbled quite a long way off the trail, and I found somewhere where I've got a nice bank to lean on. It's low enough that I'm completely sheltered from the breeze, and I can just see moor all around. Exmoor all around. Down there's the river, and we'll be following that again tomorrow. That's the same river that we walked up today from Tar Steps all the way up to Wembury Pool. And then more over there. Well, for a day that was supposed to be taking it easy, we've come a fair way in the end, but having got to Wembury Pool, I just wanted to carry on until I found a nice spot, and I think I've done that. This is pretty good. I'm not too sure how far, because the GPS that I was using to track progress gave up the ghost. The batteries died on that, and I was only using it for recording the mileage and as a digital compass. So since that died, I've just been relying on an actual compass. I mean, the reality is that OS maps are brilliant. So it's only occasionally you need to get your bearings, and one of those is fine for that. Don't need a GPS. But anyway, the upshot is I don't know the distance. I'll put the hot water back on again for one last treat. I've been saving a hot chocolate for this occasion. Last night of the adventure. Well, cheers. Here's to another splendid day. Just going to sit here and enjoy the view until it gets dark, I think. I'll see you in the morning. Welcome to day 7. No early morning encounters of deer today. It's gone 7 o'clock. Well, I slept really well. Hence the very late start. So I'll get dressed, get sorted out, and we'll head down there into the valley and find a spot for breakfast. It's an easy day today, but there's still 15 miles to go, so it's not it's not nothing. Look at the lichen growing on the tree. That's crazy. There's wisps of it all over the shop. Gosh, they hard to film. I've been trying to film the skylarks ever since I started this journey. That's the best I've got. Trying something as an experiment. So I've been wearing toe socks all week, but I did bring these as well, and this is what I've been wearing in the evenings. So these are also ultra light, ultra thin, merino wool super duper hiking socks, but they're conventional, they're not toe socks. So I'm going to wear these today and see if I get blisters. So we've only walked for a couple of hours, if that, and I can feel my big toe rubbing against this toe, so we shall see. So we are here at Cow Castle, just there, actually sat pretty much on the trail. We've only a mile and a half to Simon's Bath, so that's a little village, and then from Simon's Bath to Lynmouth to the finish, 11 miles, but it is quite rugged. Oh, that's a cuckoo. 2 cuckoos. Just for a moment I had sight of not 1 but 2 cuckoos. I've never seen any before in my life. Incredibly hard to film because they're swirling around. I don't think I got any actual good footage of them, so you just have to take my word for it. I'm going to follow the river for a fair way, I think. Perhaps all the way into Simon's Bath. Wow, look at that water. It's funny, this part of the trail feels far more remote than between the tar steps to Withypool section. But I've encountered loads more people along this bit. And I can see why. I mean, it's just really lovely. Nice and cool in the woods. I'm just about to pop out into Simon's Bath, which is barely a village. That's the end of this stage, beginning of the last stage. We'll go up into the hills and find a spot for lunch. Oh, phone box with a phone. Gosh. Very handy toilets in the car park here. That was a steep ascent from Simon's Bath. But we're back out on the moor. And I'm just going to see how far I can get before lunchtime, basically. I've never walked so long in my life, or so far. I do feel like I'm nearing my current limit though. Both knees on the go. That my foot where I put the plaster on it a day or two ago, that's holding up, but I can feel it now. Yeah, shoulders hurt, back hurts, it's all getting a bit. I think that's the beginning of the River Lynn. That, I believe, is the first time I've seen an adder. That's the first time I've ever seen an adder. I was going to say in the wild, probably ever. We are here, and you might be able to make out the contour lines. We are pretty much walking a ridge. So there's a big valley there and one here. And we're walking the ridge all the way down into Cheriton, little village. And then we go down this valley into Lynmouth. The moor is narrowing down to a point, and we go out through here. And that's goodbye to Exmoor. Still going up. Forget for not reading the map carefully enough. I mean, I'm on the right track, but I didn't realise this elevation was here. Look how high up we are now. I thought we were going to follow the river all the way to the sea, but I was terribly wrong. Oh, there it is, Lynmouth, the finish line, way down there. The official end, but we started at a beach, we should end at a beach. Seven days, 120 miles of lugging, 20 kilos of pack. We're here at the north coast of Devon. Job done. I'm far too tired to do a proper wrap up of the experience right now, so I'm going to do a little epilogue to this, which I'll tag on to the end of this video, so that'll be coming up in a few moments, and I'll give you my thoughts on the whole experience and a little review of some of the bits of kit I use, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, stick around. If you're just here for the adventure, it's done. We did it, we got here. Before I go, a huge thank you to my patrons for enabling me to do adventures like this. Well, not so much enabling the adventures themselves as enabling me to film them and turn them into videos which I can then share for everybody else. If you're interested in becoming a patron, it's just £1. And a huge thank you to Katie, of course, for dropping me off at the start and collecting me at the finish. She's on her way here now. I can't wait to get home and have a shower and a bath. And some real food and some real ale, and then a real bed. Right, I'll see you back home in a moment for a wrap up. Cheers for now. Welcome to the day after, actually a couple of days after. I've now fully recovered and I feel I can give you a balanced appraisal of my adventure. Overall, the main takeaway is that I had an absolutely magnificent time. I was thinking towards the end, this is probably the best week I've spent in my own company ever. I absolutely loved this hike. It was great. Back to the happiest points, I think possibly when I arrived on Dartmoor, just slogging up the hill out of Ivybridge, and then suddenly Bosch actually being on the moor. The target I'd been heading for that whole day since setting off before daybreak that morning from the south coast, and there it was, I was there. That was a huge lift. Equally, arriving on Exmoor after a couple of days of slogging across the middle of Devon, just to arrive on Exmoor and suddenly be back in what felt like a much wilder environment was equally uplifting. I'm also just going to go briefly over some of the kit that I took. The main one I want to talk about is my footwear. So I took not so much what I took, these are trail runners, but the fact that I went up a whole size from my normal footwear. These are size 13s and I normally wear a 12 for everything. So I ran a marathon in a size 12 pair of these. These are size 13s, and I paired these with these toe socks, these funny toe socks. And this is the first hike where I didn't get any blisters. And I remember being astonished at the end of day one to have walked 20 miles with a 20 kilo pack, have no blisters. That was a first. By the end of the trip, still no blisters. So absolutely amazing. The last day I did in more conventional socks and I still didn't get any blisters, although my feet weren't quite as comfortable. I did feel some rubbing on my toes. So I do think it's the combination. So it's not these shoes that are particularly magical, it's just the fact that I finally went up enough in size that they fitted and my feet had room, my toes had room to splay out a bit. Even on hot days, I tended to wear one of these. So this is a British Army t-shirt. This is a British Army wicking t-shirt. This is a running shirt, and they do exactly the same job. They're just synthetic, drag the moisture away from being on your skin, help you cool down. So very happy with those. I wore Kraghopper Kiwi, I think they're called. Yeah, Kraghopper Kiwi trousers. I wore these because I got them for a few quid and they were fine. They're very lightweight. If you get them wet, they dry almost instantly. They have no give to them, and so on day one I managed to tear a hole in there. Well, you can see where. And then that's when I discovered I left my sewing kit at home, but it was fine. It turns out they do a stretch version of these, so I've actually paid full price for a new pair of the stretchy type. See if they've got a bit more give for the next hike. And finally, the camping tarp. Didn't it do well? I was really happy with this shelter, especially in comparison to the last shelter that I made. This kept the sun off me, kept the morning dew off me, kept the wind chill away. And it even held up that first night when we had heavy rain. Not perfectly, and if I was to use this on a regular basis, I'd want to waterproof it a bit more, but it did the job. No complaints about this at all. Is it better than a British Army Basher, which is the most similar thing that I've got to it? It's more breathable. That's its only real advantage. And a British Army Basher is a fantastic bit of kit available for very little money. But I can see myself using this again. It did the job, and I'm happy with it. And like I say, that's a huge step up from the last one. And it got me using the sewing machine again, which is good as well. So yes, full marks to this. I should mention the guidebook. This is the Cicerone book. I would say this is essential to do this trail. So you've got the guidebook itself, and then this is OS mapping in a little booklet. So these two and a compass, and you're sorted. The trail itself, I would highly recommend. It was fantastic, and I think I chose well as my first big hike. It was a good choice. It's challenging without being quite as daunting as, say, the other coast to coast, the northern one, or it's not like that. It's not like the Pennine Way or the Cape Rough or any of those ones. They might lie ahead, but this was a fantastic first big hike. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and that's pretty much all I've got to say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.